My name is now Stella Coulling. It used to be Stevens and was well known at the time I was on the buses. And my dad was well known because I was brought up in a public house and we lived in the New Inn public house near the Green Road roundabout. Now I live at Drayton to be near my niece. Now I am 91 and my eyesight has got very bad. In fact, I am registered as blind. I worked in the co-op and I was a cashier in the drapery, and I was there till 5 years, and the war had started and they had been calling up the girls for work or factory or in the forces. I applied to go as a bus conductor. Where you went on a bus with another conductor who was telling you how to do the job. And of course in those days we all started with the tickets which you had to punch. A lot of girls did get a bit muddled because you had to keep filling the tickets up as they were used, and the different prices, but none of this ever worried me. Then after a while we were given one of the machines and you just turn the handle and the ticket come out, and you had a bag round your neck to put the money in and to give change if necessary. I come to be a driver because the drivers were short-staffed because most of them were called up. And for a fortnight we worked with one of the senior drivers, and we had 2 days in the garage to go round with the mechanics to see the buses and to find out all about buses. And then the three of us were started on a bus with this driver, and we worked together so that we could all look at one another's mistakes and try and do the right things. And after a fortnight we then had to have a test. We started off at the garage and we went down Cowley Road, down to the top of Carfax, down to New Road, and we went round. All right, and at the top we went to Pullins Lane. We had to reverse into Pullins Lane. The only thing I did wrong, I reversed into Pullins Lane and I pulled my handbrake on so hard and I couldn't get it off. He had to come round and show me how that was done. Then we went back to Eddington Hill and back through to Cowley Road and back to the garage, and we then waited to hear the report. And I was lucky enough that I had passed, and I was so pleased because it was something I always wanted to do, was drive. Because when it come to the blackout, you hadn't got very good lights to see, and it was more difficult. In the dark, it's surprising how you can get used to the darkness and you do see a certain amount. At times it was difficult, especially if you were on a different route. You had to depend on people to ring the bell to even tell you where the bus stops were. You had to go up to Weekly. There was a place for Americans there to pick some Americans up there. But I also had a conductor with me, but one of them, he didn't think I should be driving at all. But we just never took no notice of him and just carried on.
Is that because you were a woman?
Yeah. And it was towards the end. I was at Green Road roundabout on the route to Summertown. And you know, you waited a little while there and we were talking with the conductor outside for a while, and when we went to go, she got onto the bus and I went to get into the bus, and the chap come up to me. He'd been stood on leaning against the wall outside, and he come up to me and he said, "Are you the driver?" And I said, yes. He said, well, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. He said, there's chaps wants drive, wants work. I said, well, that's not my fault. And I mean, it wasn't. Because all the ones that come back from the war, the conductors and that, they applied back for the jobs and they got the jobs. Because I worked with one or two of them.
Were women then encouraged to leave those jobs when the war was over?
Well, most of them went back to conducting at the time, but so quite a few still stayed because they were allowed to then. But at the time, as I said, it was 1946 when I got married. Most of them just sort of, well, it was just recognised, unless they were desperate to keep you, you just left.
But other than that, you never had any problems with men?
No, everybody who used to be, well, they all got sort of used to me, and living in Headington, most of them knew me as well as when they got on the buses.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoy driving the buses. I enjoy it because I am my own boss. I enjoy meeting people coming onto the buses. You are the responsible one for driving this great big 40-foot long vehicle. Her experience must have been harder than ours, driving in the war, just looking for little red lights on other vehicles. That's all you had at night time, because obviously the blackouts. I mean, one story was her bus slowed right down because of a little red light in front of her, and it turned out to be a carrier with a tank on it. Meeting Stella was wonderful. It was lovely. A 91-year-old lady who'd driven in the war a double-decker bus. It was very inspiring to meet her. Obviously, she's led the way for us other women to drive buses. To pass the test, she never actually had driven a car before getting in a bus. So that must have been hard. She must have wanted to do it.
We only worked, first of all, on provisional licences. We weren't given a full licence, but later on, one of the staff that worked in the office, and he had been a driver at one time, he came up to me and he said, and I knew him quite well, and he said, your driving licence soon got to be renewed, haven't it? And I said, yes. He said, well, come and see me before you go, because he said, you can have your full licence now. He said, I don't even need to take you out on a bus. He said, I've been behind you so many times as a passenger, and I know you so well. He said, there's no need. And I had to then get this form to have a full driving licence. And I had my driving licence, and I still got it, as you know. Later on, I had a car, and I drove till I was, well, 80, I think it was, with no problems at all.